My gosh.
I hear you're doing fine. My heart's in jail while it's still doing time. Inside your hands you hold the key, but you probably lost it in your car's backseat. I'm not letting go of nothing. We're not still holding on to everything, and I'm not letting go of nothing. We're not still holding on to everything.
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to yet another episode of Jed Adventures. Today is going to be kind of an interesting topic for the comic recommendation of the week. I'm going to be recommending this week Batman number 50, which hit stores this week. The reason why 50 is important, and I talked a little bit about it in last week's episode, but the reason why this week's so important is because it's the wedding of Batman, the Batman, and Catwoman. So it's a big thing, and actually there's a bunch of drama that's been going on these past couple of days. DC actually let out the actual spoiler of what's gonna happen in 50, and there's a bunch of commotion going on. People mad, people not mad. Where does Jeff stand on this whole situation? Before we get even further into it, I do want to say most of these videos, if there are prior issues to the issue that I'm recommending, there will be spoilers, not in super huge detail, but there will be spoilers about stuff that has happened in the past if it is a continuous run that's been going on. Anything that I see fit or that is important to pertaining to, what's going on. The videos are more of a recommendation of why I'm looking forward to it coming out, what's been going on in this comic. I don't want to give too much away to a point where, there's no need for you to get it. Because, self-explanatory. This is my recommendation. If you're collecting it already, awesome. If you're not, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory of it to, kind of edge you that way if like, oh yeah, I want to get this comic, or nah, I don't really want this comic, doesn't sound like it's for me. So, spoilers ahead to number 50 that were released out, if you don't mind. I know a lot of people are trying to avoid the spoilers of number 50 before they read it, and I know some people don't care. At first, I was like, you know what, I don't want to know, and then my curiosity got the best of me, and I read what DC had came out and said, what was going to happen, and, why people were so angry, or why a group of people were so angry as to why would DC let out what is going to happen or what happened in 50. So if you don't want to know, read it and then come back to hear my thoughts, or if you just are not a comic person and you're looking at this episode just to look at this episode, stay here. If you want to know what happens in 50, stay here. So, the big controversy. DC let out that number 50, ultimately, the wedding, it's not going to happen. And the big controversy is, they're building up this huge thing that's going on, and, they promotional invitations, the prelude to the wedding, just all this stuff going on just for DC to let out prematurely that the wedding isn't going to happen. They came out and they said that, Catwoman is basically going to leave Batman at the altar, and this kind of relates back to number 49, if you did read it. If you haven't read it, number 49, it was just the whole comic was kind of a back and forth between Catwoman and Joker, and Joker's explaining to Catwoman, you marrying Batman makes him happy. Batman isn't the Batman if Batman's happy. And to a weird sense, it looks like Selena Kyle, Catwoman, gets that. And from what I read online and from what I read from some of the spoiler stuff that I read, is that is the reason why Catwoman is leaving Batman at the altar. Because ultimately, if she marries him, he makes Batman happy, and then Batman is no longer Batman, and she feels like she's taking him away from, or she's, taking someone who's important away from a lot of people, including the Joker and, a bunch of other people. So, let's dig in. I don't mind that this spoiler was let out just because I'm gonna get it anyway. Just for the collection value of it, I'm gonna go out. It's already on my pull list. I'm getting it. It's done deal. It's gonna be cool to read anyway. The background of number 50 says there's gonna be a lot of flashbacks. There's still, I read that there's still even a small chance that it might not even happen. It might not even happen to where, this actually happens in the comic. They might just be throwing everybody for a loop. I don't know. I personally don't care that much about it. If it happens that way, it happens that way. For those of you who are collecting Marvel X-Men Gold, this exact same thing happened with my boy Colossus and Kitty Pryde. She basically leaves him out the altar. They're kind of mimicking each other, which is, a back and forth thing that DC and Marvel has always done, or have always done. And this is just, this is kind of like if it actually is a thing and they actually do this is like, besides copying a character, just boom, boom. They're even copying story arcs. I don't know who's copying who. I don't know whose idea it was first. Frankly, I don't care. I just want something good to read, and I want something that looks cool. I'm still going to read it. I'm still going to get it. It doesn't make a big difference to me. It was interesting that they did that, though, that they let it out. You have a bunch of press from DC saying that it doesn't matter that they let that out, that, it's gonna be a game changer. And in what way, we don't know. We don't know what type of a game changer this is going to be. Again, the only downside to this that I kind of see is that they did all this prep work for it. The prelude to the wedding, all those connecting covers, and, it just kind of feels like a waste of time in that sense if they don't go through with this marriage thing. Which I guess, as dramatic effect, let's build it up for it not to happen. Again, I don't care. But I'm still going to recommend it, though. Just because of how much controversy this caused. I didn't know Batman was that important. And apparently he is. There's a lot of people who are really angry about it. I fall on the side where I really don't care. It is what it is. I'm still going to collect it. They still have some pretty cool... If you're into collecting variants, they have a bunch of really sweet variant covers of number 50 coming out. And along with this, Catwoman number 1 is kicking off. And it's just, there's bigger fish to fry in the comic book world than this, honestly. There's a lot going on in Marvel. There's a lot going on in DC. There's always something to read, and there's always something going on. So, it's cool with me. Jeff approved. Number 50. Check it out. If you're mad, let me know. If you're happy, let me know. If you don't care, let me know. Subscribe, like. Till next time. Jet Adventures.